What's going on, guys? Another project here collectible for y'all today. We got this 91 OBS in. It's got an issue with the wiper motor, so we've got a new nice reman unit here. And also we're missing our passenger wiper arm, and so we're gonna get that replaced today. Dorman's about the only supplier I could find on this. Here's the part number right here for you guys. And something to note on these OBSs is they switched over in '94 to the later style arm. So we actually have these, and these are the same identical arm, driver and passenger, on the old OBS like this one. So to get started here, we aren't gonna need too many tools. We need something to pop the arms off with, some Phillips heads to get the cowl off, a 10 mil for the motor, and then probably a 13 or 14 to get the arm off the motor. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll get this driver's arm popped off here. Pull your release up. Once it's fully disengaged, be careful not to pop the paint. Give her a little wiggle and a twist. There we go, she's starting to come. Just like that, be careful not to hit your windshield. So here's the clip right there. You lift up, and it goes up about a 1/4 inch, and that releases the lock. So now we can pop the hood and get our cowl removed. And yeah, guys, tools make everything a lot nicer in life. But if you don't have this nice drill, you can always use the drill adapter, 90-degree adapter, or simply just a stubby screwdriver. Okay, guys, so with all of our Phillips out and this other piece out right here, we're going to go ahead, lift your arm up on both sides, and it's kind of hard, and then you feed it that direction just to get enough room on this end to feed it back towards yourself into the engine bay, and come around to the driver's side, and you'll notice there is a Y fitting for your washer fluid. Pop it off just like that, and your cowl is ready to come off. Next thing, grab yourself a 13 mil socket. You're gonna have to pretty much do it blind here. But feel back in here, get it on the bolt. All right, guys, you can see there it took a little bit of force to get that thing broken loose. If you guys have a big crescent wrench like this, slide it down onto that arm and it'll hold it still for you. But with that nut being off, now we're good to go ahead and remove the 3 10 mil bolts that hold the pump on, or the motor on itself. Here, I'll go ahead and just do it proper. Way to look better. Okay, so with the nut off holding this arm on, we can give this arm a little wiggle, and it should be able to come off. Might need to get a pry tool to force it. There you go. So now 3 10 mil bolts. Just like that, all motors off. All right, guys, we're back over at the bench now. It'll be a little bit easier to show you what's going on here. Here's the part number for you guys. This is available at O'Reilly's. This is a reman unit. One thing to note is whether or not you have intermittent wipers. If you have the black electrical socket, you'll have the intermittent wipers. Most of the trucks do. But just a few things to salvage off our old unit. Swap this little rub-it grommet over. And then these things are usually in there pretty well. Get yourself a small screwdriver, wiggle, pop it out of place, slide it into the new motor, Use a little bit of force. All right, so 2 more of those and we'll be back at the truck and get it installed. Back to the truck. So back at the truck, all we have to do, line up our holes, get our bolts started. And something that I've already done, these motors are supposed to come parked in their park position, which is where the motor stops once you turn the wipers off. In order to test this motor and also make sure it's in the park position, I went ahead and ran it and turned the wipers off so that I know that they'll be lined up, which will be part of our next step, which will be getting that arm back on in the right position on the new motor. Okay guys, I got the nut to hold the arm onto the wiper motor. Now, we're gonna go ahead and put it in place just roughly. We're not gonna tighten it down yet because we need to get our wiper arm positioned and make sure that this is aligned exactly how it should be. But for now, I can go ahead and just put the nut on just a couple turns, and that way I'm still free to move this arm to where it needs to be. So now we're gonna need to mock up our arm. Can just do one for right now. I actually placed a piece of masking tape here to mark it earlier. So I'll go ahead and come through. Let's see, I guess we'll go under the hood. And there's this spline on the wiper, so you can only put it in one way. Can't get it wrong. We'll go ahead, go around here. Like that. Position it against our masking tape. And now we know our arm is exactly where it should be. And press it on around the night tight with our fingers. Grab our 13 mil wrench and snug her up. You can actually see it's trying to turn the arm as I tighten it, but that's okay. Don't have to go crazy with this, just get it nice and snug. All right. Put this connector in. Since we already have our wiper mocked up, we can go ahead and go in the truck and cycle it before we put everything back together. So before we get everything assembled, we can go ahead and test our motor. Crank it on high, working nicely. Go ahead and shut it off. And it parks just where our tape was, meaning we're good to go. We could go ahead and take this arm back off, put our cowl on, and then the new arms can go on. Good. So with the wiper tested, we can go ahead and put our cowl back in, run it extra far over, get it up here, go hook up our washer hoses. Another little trick, guys, this one's still pretty good, but if your hose is loose, cut it back a ½ inch and it'll be firm again. This is one still in great shape. So now align the cowl onto the wiper arm studs, just like so. She's in, put in our Phillips heads, so you guys know the drill, not too hard. more short screw. The little side piece installed. Go ahead and get both these pieces lined up and then shut the hood so you can access the screws. On these you have two tabs. You can see one here and one here. So once you get it wiggled up in place, you push it in there, rock it backwards, and then put your screw in once you shut the hood. Inside one's in, push it rearward. That's good. Take our light off the hood. Shut the hood. That drill. One last little touch, install our little safety clip. Now we're done under the hood. So when you're installing these arms, spline shaft is pretty simple. Can't screw it up. Make sure your lock's open. The spline goes in here in the middle. So just like so. Push her down snugly. Squeeze the clip tight. And just like before, we're good. Go ahead and do the passenger side. We're ready to hit the road. So to finish off, all we got to do, we'll go ahead and attach our wiper blade to the arm, like so. On these Bosch wipers, they just snap in really nice. Make sure our release is pulled up. Our cowl hood makes this a little bit harder, but still no big deal. Line it up. Wiggle her down in place. As far as I can get it, we're going to open the hood up, give it a few taps with the mallet, and lock her down. All right, you good? Yep. So with it fully seated, we're good to close our hood back. Press our lock down. It's also pretty stiff. Give it some persuasion. Okay guys, so take the weight off. That actually prevents, our clip here prevents the arm from coming down. So take it up, push it down. Now our arm is good and we're totally done, guys. Took about an hour all said and done and wasn't too bad at all for a $70 motor. So you guys have a good one.